Okay, so welcome to the first lecture in Data Structures, CSE 2120. Um, this lesson is going to be covering branches and loops. You can refer back to this video anytime you want. The PDF will be posted on Canvas for you to access and go through, and then I will release the next assignment for you to follow. Obviously, this is an unideal situation, but lucky for us, computer science is something that is continually evolving, and most of it is actually accessed online. Okay. So, in your notes, you're going to label this as lesson 7, branches and loops. So first of all, we're going to review some Boolean type and truth tables. It's important for you guys to have these written down somewhere so that you can go back and make sure that your logic and your programs are following the proper place. So for ANDing, so if you have something that is, you need A and B to be true, or for it to follow, you're using the double ampersand. So for A, if A is false and B is false, the response is also going to be false. Whereas if A is false and B is true, when you use the logic and both of these both have to be true, this is still going to be false. We have with our true, A true and B false. Again, they both have to be true in order for this to ring true, so this is going to be false. So the only way that AND can ring true is if both A and B are both true. This is not the case with ORing or Booleans. What this is happening, what this is saying is here, if either A or B is true, then this will ring true. However, if A is false, B is false, it's going to be false. But any sort of these options here, with A being false and B being true, it's going to be read as true. If A is true and B is false, it's going to be said as true. Or if they're both true, it's going to be read as true. So in this case, it's this condition or this condition have to be true in order to be good to go. You should already be familiar with the if statement. The if statement is one of the more powerful tools in programming and to direct your program. This was covered in depth in CSE 10, like Computer Science 10, and I'm not going to go over it again. The for loop, again, the purpose or reasoning behind the for loop was covered in Computer Science 10 in depth. I'm not going to cover the why again. However, in Java, the for loop's a lot different than it does in Python, so we are going to go over that. So you'll see we have our for loop initialized, and then we have our variable being initialized and declared in our condition. So we have for, and we've put our variable int I. We've set that to a value of 0. We've now set our condition with the second part, I is less than 5. So as long as I is less than 5, this for loop is going to run. And then we iterate, so we increase, in this case we are incrementing our variable I each time the loop runs. So how this is read is while so we've set I as 0, while I is less than 5, the for loop is going to run, and we're going to increase the value of I each time it's run. And then within our curly braces, we have our just a simple statement here, system.out.println I. So this is going to print 5 times, and the last thing that gets printed is 4. So it'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The keyword break is executed inside a for loop, and the for loop is immediately exited, not executed. So what happens here is it says, okay, we're done, and so now we're going to stop the for loop. The switch statement is useful when we have an integer variable that can be one of several quantities. So you are switching the flow of the program using integer variables. So example in here, we have our Java exercise here. So what's going to be printed by this is make your arithmetic section from the choices below, add, subtract, multiply, multiplication, division, and so you choose 3, enter the first operand 12, enter the second operand 144. 12.0 times 144.0 is 1,720. So I'm going to zoom in here to our example. So with our switch example, we have our outputs to the user for them to use. We have our choices. We have the user put in a choice. We scan that in. We get them to put in their 2 variables. We stored their choices in an integer, and we stored the operands as doubles. And then we have our switch program flow right here. So case 1 for addition, system out.println operand 1 plus operand 2 equals, and then we have it perform that arithmetic. Same as for subtraction. We take our string and then we have our expression at the end. Okay, so we have our choice. So based off of what their choice is, it switches the case in the switch statement. Okay, fairly simple. While loop, basically the same as the for loop. Again, we covered this in Computer Science 10. In Java, this looks like this. So we have our condition. So while j is less than or equal to 79, and then we have some code we want to be repeated, and it'll run until the condition is no longer true. The difference again in for loops is and while loops is the condition for a for loop is set inside of it. We have to initialize the condition in a while loop before, and we have to change the condition in the while loop itself. And that is the end of our first lesson in data structures.